Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to the Apocablog, day 1521 of being amazed at this remarkable coincidence. And given the distances involved, it's just astronomical. Fucking should play the fucking lotto. Hong Kong to teach children as young as 6 about subversion and foreign interference as part of a new national security curriculum. Hong Kong Education Bureau unveiled controversial guidelines on Thursday. Young pupils will also learn how to sing and respect China's national anthem. Well, that won't be the coincidence. Well, actually, it will be. Schools are urged to stop students taking part in activities deemed political. 6 years old. Okay. China forced a security law on Hong Kong following pro-democracy protests. The latest move shows Beijing's plans for the city to go beyond quashing dissent. Hong Kong, why do they always have to fucking repeat themselves? I hate the way the news writes stories. Hong Kong has unveiled controversial guidelines for schools in the Chinese ruled city that include teaching students as young as 6 about colluding with foreign forces and subversion as part of a new national security curriculum. Beijing imposed a security law in June of 2020 in response to months of often violent anti-government, anti-China protests in 2019 that put the global financial hub more firmly on an authoritarian path. The Education Bureau's guidelines released late Thursday show Beijing's plans for the self-autonomous Hong Kong go beyond quashing dissent and aim for a societal overhaul to bring its most restive city more in line with the Communist Party-ruled mainland. Hong Kong yesterday unveiled controversial, Jesus fucking Christ. National security is of great importance. Teachers should not treat it as if it is a controversial issue for discussion as usual. Teachers should clearly point out that safeguarding national security is responsible of all nationals, and that as far as national security is concerned, there is no room for debate or compromise. After the 2019 protests, in which many of the demonstrators were teenagers, Chinese leaders turned to re-education in a bid to tame the city's youth and make them loyal citizens. Head of Professional Teachers Union, blah, 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 cause uncertainty, said the guidelines would cause uncertainty, ambiguity, and anxiety for teachers and enforce a restrictive and suppressive education style that does not foster student development and independent thinking. Exactly. That's kind of the point, dude. And of course, the kids are angry, blah, blah, blah. But so you know where this is going. Interestingly enough, and again, fucking astounding fucking coincidence here. You're just. Democrat lawmakers push bill to teach children the difference between fake and credible media. Lawmakers in Colorado are proposing legislation that would seek to teach children how to differentiate between fake and credible media sources. Whenever somebody starts off a sentence with, "I read somewhere that this happened," you think, wait a minute, State Rep Barbara McLaughlin said, according to the local CBS affiliate in Denver. Like, why did I need to know it was a local CBS affiliate in Denver? Whatever. I think we all need to be a little distrustful about where people are getting their information. Does that sound vaguely familiar? Different language, but McLaughlin, a former teacher, and colleague State Rep Lisa Cutter, say lawmakers need to help children identify fake news and disinformation, since many have access to Facebook, Twitter, and other sites where information is not always accurate. According to the CBS, McLaughlin and Cutter observed a Stanford University study that found 82% of middle school students are unable to differentiate between an online ad and a news story. Well, there's a reason for that, because they started making ads look like news stories. That's because people, as soon as they see an ad, click out. So this way, they hook you in to read it for a couple more seconds, get that click, blah, blah, blah. We're not taking a stand that one side is right or another is wrong, bullshit. Or one outlet is good, one outlet is bad, bullshit. We just want to give them the tools so they can figure it out and understand what makes a credible source. And then they can form their own opinions from there. The bill would establish an online bank of media resources in the Colorado Department of Education from which teachers can learn how to build media literacy into their curriculum. So the goal is to incorporate media literacy into every subject area. So it's not like everybody stops and says, okay, now we're going to do a unit on media literacy. It's every time you do a research paper, every time you're having a discussion in class and you're referring to an article or something on TV, that's where media literacy will be taught. An online bank of resources has conveniently already been established after Qatar passed legislation 2 years ago to create a task force to study media literacy. So, state-controlled media, state-sponsored media. Because they're outside entities trying to sow distrust in the public health and vaccines, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, you will take your vaccine, you will comply, you will learn to love the Chinese national anthem and respect it. And interestingly enough, these people, the Democrats, D.C. public schools using Black Lives Matter curriculum that prioritizes disrupting the nuclear family. Oh, wow. An email sent to parents refers to children as communal children and prioritizes disrupting the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement. Now, why do you suppose they're doing that? Why do you think that, oh, that's right, we need to get rid of America and become China? An email sent to parents, according to a report Daily Wire, who obtained the email, the program calls for allowing everyone to choose their own gender, of course, even children in elementary school. The critical race theory-based curricula uses Black Lives Matter 13 guiding principles, which the Wire pushes for queer and transgender affirmation and restorative justice, among other priorities. The guide calls for dismantling the patriarchal practice of requiring mothers to parent their children, because you want the state doing that, while also participating in justice work. We are committed to disrupting the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, the guide reads, especially our children. Now, you know where it takes a village comes from? Comes from Africa. How's that working out? Any place in Africa you're just dying to go live? National Review reported on the curriculum back in August, reporting that schools in Massachusetts, Maryland, California, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Indiana, North Carolina, and many more have all signed on to the effort. Multiple teachers' unions have signed on to the effort as well. The NR notes that it directly pushes globalism. Globalism means that we are thinking about all the different people all over the world and thinking about ways to keep things fair everywhere, like they're doing in Hong Kong. That's what they're doing share, be fair with China. The school's district's email also linked parents to Teaching Tolerance, which is a branch of the activist Southern Poverty Law Center network. And of course, dozens of people were killed and thousands of businesses were destroyed during the Black Lives Matter violent riots of 2020. But that's who we have teaching our children to tear down the nuclear family and, do communal fucking child rearing. Because, and again, what an amazing coincidence. It's almost as if China were dictating to our educators what the agenda is. Can't make this shit up, kids.